So, Governor, it just came through about a half an hour ago that these same guys who are plotting to kidnap you also discussed kidnapping Governor Ralph Northam of Virginia. I mean, this was a big plan, I have a feeling, bigger than just what we know. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that in this moment in American politics, it's so crucial that people of goodwill on both sides of the aisle stand up and call this out and call it what it is and examine their own behavior and ask, have I done anything to contribute to this? Giving domestic terror groups credibility or giving them space or sending them message or encouragement means that you're complicit. I think this is a moment in American history where we need to see leaders stand up for the right thing right now. Lives are on the line, whether it's around COVID-19 or it is around domestic terror. And that's why I'm so pleased to see Cindy McCain support Joe Biden for the reasons that character and the future of our country and the ability to bring us together, it's so important for all of us.
Let's talk a little bit about the election. Right now, the polls are looking very good for Joe Biden, who has a double-digit national lead. And at one point, just to remind everyone, you were on his short list for vice president. How do you see this race playing out over the next 3 weeks?
Well, I can tell you that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris both are spending a lot of time here in Michigan. Doug Emhoff was here last night. We were together trying to make sure people know here in Michigan, you can vote right now. You can walk into a polling or into a clerk's office and request your absentee ballot and fill it out and turn it in, and your vote is in the bank. And that's what we're really encouraging people to do. We don't want long lines. We don't want people to congregate. We're still in the midst of a global pandemic. And this race is it's gonna be close. I know that 8 points looks like a big lead, but here's what I know about Michigan. With a big win in 2018, I still was at 53% of the vote. I won by over 400,000 votes. And that's what an overwhelming victory looks like. So elections are always close here in Michigan. If you're interested in getting involved or finding out what's happening in Michigan, you can go to GretchenWhitmer.com and we'll get you educated on what's happening here.
Governor, there are reports that armed militias plan on patrolling voting centers on Election Day and that staff at polling sites are undergoing training sessions to prepare for these extremist groups. How confident are you that we can have a safe Election Day?
Well, I can tell you this. Our Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, is on the ball. She is a national expert. Our Attorney General, Dana Nessel, the three of us are working very closely together with our relevant agencies and with our local clerks. We're going to make sure that people are safe and that every vote is counted. We've never had to worry about that in the past, and we're going to make sure that voters know that they are safe to vote. However, as I just mentioned, they can vote early. So if anyone has anxiety about congregating in the midst of a global pandemic or potential, the conversation around their literal safety walking in, to go in and get that vote cast now is the best way to participate in your democracy and to stay safe doing it.
Governor, I want to switch gears just a little bit here and talk about coronavirus, if we may. Your state is seeing a rise, as we are seeing across the Midwest. How concerned are you for a second wave, or are you in the second wave now?
Well, I'm very concerned. This Supreme Court decision that I mentioned that was on a slim majority vote and on a party line vote has really created a lot of confusion, unnecessarily so. We have stepped up a lot of our efforts under other sources of authority in the executive branch, trying to work with the legislature, but they've been very, it's been a challenge, to put it lightly. But we're going to continue to move forward and do everything we can to keep our COVID numbers down. We had incredible success early on. Michigan was the third highest number of COVID cases and deaths. We're now 33rd. We know how to do this. Wearing a mask, being physically distanced, washing our hands. This is how we stay safe. The experts have been telling us as the temperatures drop and we go inside, that's when we're likely to see a second wave. And that's what appears to be playing out. And that's why we're going to continue to work to keep those numbers down and keep people safe.
So the confirmation hearing for Amy Coney Barrett started yesterday. We watched a little bit of it. It's very interesting. Democrats don't have the numbers to fight her appointment. So there isn't much that they can do to stop her confirmation. Joe Biden has said he isn't a fan of packing the court. That's interesting. He did indicate that, and they've been hawking him all week about it. Say it, say it, say it. He says he's not a fan. What do you think about that? First of all, can you play politics with the Supreme Court? And is an appropriate question to ask him.
Well, I do think that this is a moment that is a stark, harsh reminder that this election is going to impact everything from our health care here in Michigan. 800,000 people have Medicaid expansion thanks to the Affordable Care Act. It's going to impact our ability to have autonomy over our bodies. It could impact the LGBTQ community. I mean, this appointment is going to have ramifications for generations of Americans, and that's why we have to vote. Right now, over almost 1 million people have voted in Michigan. The fact that we're already well into this process, I believe, means that we should not have an appointment made now. We should let whomever wins on November 3rd make the appointment. But I know I'm not persuading any of the Republicans in the U.S. Senate. So what I'm going to do is work my tail off here in Michigan to make sure that future appointments, future actions, and our ability to codify some of these protections here in Michigan law happen. And that's why I think every one of us has to see that this is personal for all of us. And that's why voting is the most important thing we do in the next few weeks.